Welcome to GolfCask Original Series, The Blend. Perfect for golf and whiskey enthusiasts alike.
Hey there, GolfCast Nation. This is Brian Bailie here bringing you our new podcast this week. And this one's going to be kind of a fun podcast. This is actually, I love my members, I love my listeners. This is really driven off of listener content and meetings and talkings I've had with different people inside of the GolfCast community. So we're going to call this a transition podcast. We're transitioning from summer to fall right now, so golf is getting ready to change, right? The time to play golf gets smaller. We're starting to think about next year, big tournaments, things along that lines are coming to an end, especially in the northern hemisphere, southern hemisphere. I love you guys, but you guys are just kicking off. But here in the northern hemisphere, where most of our members are hanging out, you know, inside of Ireland, inside of the U.S., everything's getting ready to change, right? So change is a good thing. It can be scary at times, but change is a good thing. So what we're going to start looking at on the golf side is what things can we do as the fall kind of winds down and we go into winter. How can we kind of set up a training program and kind of think about getting ready for our 2025 season? And then on the whiskey side, I got 3 bottles right here. We're going to make 3 old fashioned. So I've been doing a lot of cocktails lately. We had some friends over, and they were not whiskey fans, and they wanted to try to enjoy some whiskeys. So they're like, you know, kind of start us off in a classic whiskey cocktail, but make it different and fun. So I went ahead and made a bunch of different simple syrups and made some different old fashions, and we're going to try those today. So we're going to have a pumpkin pie old fashioned, we're going to have our bread pudding old fashioned, and we're going to have, what was the other one? Burnt cinnamon old fashioned. So there are going to be 3 different old fashions to try. I'm going to make them for my wife and my daughter who's home from college this weekend, and I will show you how to make those and kind of give you the recipes. Again, these were designed for more of a newbie drinker to kind of mask and hide a little bit of the whiskey. But we're going to do a single malt, we're going to do a good bourbon, and then we're going to do a rye as well. And those are going to complement the actual simple syrups we made, and of course the bitters to go with it, so that'll be kind of fun. So that's kind of encompassing what we're going to do today. And I think on a personal note, for those that have been following me for a while, I have big changes in my life coming up professionally. I guess a little bit on the personal side, but more professionally. More to come with that, but there is a big change in my life coming, and I'm excited for it. It's been months in the making. It's been a very frustrating, crazy time for me. But again, I'm excited about where things are headed. More on that coming up, but GolfCask is growing. GolfCask is a passion of mine, and we'll see where this goes as well. So without further ado, let's talk about, Blind Preacher. This is a new whiskey company here in Central Virginia that I discovered not too long ago. I went today and spoke with them. We have our golf event coming up in December. They're going to give us a tasting and a tour, it looks like right now, and then we're going to do a brunch at the Exchange Cafe right next door. So that's coming in December. Be on the lookout for that. We're going to have 20 spots available, and I think 14 of them are already filled up, and I haven't even advertised yet. We might be to 16, so there might only be 4 spots open, but be watching the socials and through your email here shortly. I'm going to be sending out people or invitations to join us, but it's not going to be very big outside group to come in. The majority of the seats have already been filled. It's going to be Friday at the Whiskey Jar dinner tasting. Saturday, Birdwood Golf. Saturday night, it looks like we might be at a restaurant, might be at Boar's Head and doing a pairing whiskey with dinner. Sunday, we're going to do brunch, and we're going to do a tasting at Foothills Distillery, hopefully, or at least tour-wise, and it'll be optional if anybody wants to come play golf with me at Green Hills Country Club, my home club, Sunday afternoon after the tasting. So it's going to be a fun weekend. If this is an interest, again, be on the lookout for that. So if you do make it to Central Virginia, if you do make it to the Charlottesville area, go enjoy your Blind Preacher. It's a high rye bourbon, really, really tasty. We'll talk more about that in the days and weeks to come. So let's talk golf. Changing of the seasons, changing of again, kind of going from tournament mode, playing lots of golf, now to dictating a shorter time. What do we need to do? The best thing we can do, I think, is keep a few basic stats. I know nobody here likes it. I owned a stat company. I get it. Stats suck. Nobody likes to sit there and keep them. But we do need to have an overshadowing or a window of understanding what's happening, right? So the stats I want you to take are really, really simple. You don't need a big bad software program. which, again, I own a stat program, but again, I'm telling you, you don't need one. Basically, we're going to look at total score, total putts, shots to green. So how do we get shots to green? Very simple. You take total score, subtract your total putts, and that tells you how many shots it took you to the green. I will give you a chart. Look over here. It will show you basically, to shoot this number roughly, this is what it looks like. So once we kind of understand what that is, then we can say, hey, I need to do better at getting to the green faster, or I need to be better at getting off the green faster. Most people don't even know that basic understanding of how to do that. But if we can say, all right, we need to get off the green faster, then we're going to say, is it 3 putts? Is it missing short putts? Well, why are we missing it? Now we're going to start to be able to come up with a training program designed for you. Again, really simple, right? Total score, subtract putts, and we're going to start to be able to ask these questions to get where we need to go. Vice versa, if I'm not getting to the green enough, is it because my approach shots aren't hitting the green, or is it because my driver is not giving me approach shots where I can hit the green? What is that? Or when I do miss the green, it takes me 9 chips to get it on the green? Don't know. So again, we'll start to ask and start to understand those questions. So with a very simple stat keeping that you can do in your phone, you can do in Excel, you can just write it down on a sheet of paper or in a journal. We're going to start there. We'll build upon that over time, but we'll start there. So once we kind of understand what's happening, now we can kind of come up with our plan on how to get better. I think the beauty of the off season is you can do a lot of skill training. So what we have to understand in golf is that there's skills that are necessary to play the game, and there's playing the game, right? So my skill with a putter is being able to control the club face to within a certain degree so the ball will roll relatively straight. The beauty of the off season or in the winter months is I can do drills and come up with games where I'm worried only about the face. How good am I at controlling that? Right? We're not thinking about golf, we're thinking more skills. So I think what's going to be really exciting inside of GolfCask, inside of our YouTube page, I'm going to put tons of videos out there on skills. What skills do I need to have to be good at golf? Putting, off the tee, approach shots, chipping, and start to say, hey, here's some skills, things that you can start to build in the winter months, right? Same thing, speed control. How do I monitor speed? How do I control speed better? Read, how can I read better on the putting green? Approach shots, again, a lot of the same thing. How is my low point? Is it too early, too late? So am I hitting it too far behind the ball or out in front of the ball too much? Am I hitting it on the toe or the heel or the center of the club face? Is my path going out or is my path going in? These are all skills that I have to be able to control. And here's the beauty of it. We're not going to talk about swing mechanics. We're going to talk about, can I control the skill? And the beauty of it is a lot of times if you can learn to control the skill, as Rob Fales, one of my good friends and golf coach, says, when you control the skills better, the geometry takes care of itself. So once you start to understand what it takes to hit a push draw, I need the path to be going out and the face to be a little bit closed. If you can learn to feel what that is, your actual golf swing will get disproportionately better. Woohoo, crazy. So again, if you're seeing a bunch of golf coaches that are telling you they have to break you, that you have to get the elbow in this position and the wrist at this position, maybe not. So again, understanding skill building and how to build your skills will put you in a position to be a better golfer. And again, skills are different than swing, right? Skills are saying, can I control this minute piece? My swing kind of guides me to that point, but it's a different way to think of training and a different way to play, a different way to get ready to play, especially in the off-season months. And I think the off-season is particularly really good for skills because a lot of times with skill building, you don't even need to be at the golf course. You could be in the yard, you could be indoors, you could have a putting on carpet, you could be chipping in your side yard, you could be hitting into a net. So again, the beauty of skill training is we don't have to physically be on the golf course, which one is good for your wallet. And again, it's good for you in the fact that you don't have to spend extra time getting to and from the golf course. And especially as daylight's getting shorter, your opportunities to get out to the golf course become smaller and smaller. So again, I want to create that. So starting to take a little bit of understanding of what I need to work on and start to understand how skills can make me better and start to apply skill training in the off season to get ready for the season coming up. And I think the other piece is we'll talk about is putting your passion to what's important, right? So if you really want to get better at golf, you need to dive into golf. Now, that doesn't mean read golf magazines, doesn't mean watch Golf Channel, because they'll steer you wrong. But I think it's going to podcasts and listening to the golfers and coaches talking about different pieces. It's, going to tour events or any event, big event, where you can go learn and watch what the best players in the world do. The worst thing you could do is go into a golf magazine and say, we want to shoot in the 80s, do that. It's not true, because maybe what they're telling you to do might be a absolute negative and make you worse. So I think what you need to start doing, and I'm more than happy to steer you in the right direction from different books, from different podcasts to different coaches, players that can give you a lot of good information on how to get better and kind of understand your journey. Because again, we're in the off season, right? We're building our knowledge base. We're trying to become better at what we want to be. It is a passion. It might be a pastime. It could be a passion. It could be a hobby. It could be your profession. But we have to be able to assign time to expand our knowledge base and how to become better at whatever that is. So again, if golf is your choice, golf is your passion, I will help you kind of set that way. So to me, I think the off season is the best time of the year to get better. In season, it's a struggle. When you're going tournament to tournament, playing multiple weekends in a row, you don't have the time to get better, to put in the time on the range. But I think in the off season, you will have that. And the other piece that I will really encourage everyone to do is to start to journal. So I would get a notebook, and then every time I go train, kind of write some notes about what just happened. So the beauty of journaling is we can only remember so much, and God, I'm old now. I turn 52 tomorrow. Ooh, boy, I am really old. When you really start thinking about what happened a month ago, 2 months ago inside of training, it gets really hard to remember that. So journaling is really good. And I have three requests that everybody does inside their journal. Number one, you write what you did well. We as golfers are really good at being negative. Really good at being negative. I sucked at this, I suck at that, I didn't do this, I missed that. We're really good at being negative. But something good happens in every session. We need to write those things down. So the three things is, number one, what did I do well? Number two, what needs to be worked on? So we've kept a couple stats. We're not getting to the green fast enough. We've seen that we're hitting not enough greens. I'm a 80s shooter. I should be hitting anywhere from 8 to 10 greens, and I'm hitting 6. So I need to do a better job. So I'm overperforming somewhere, probably on the putting green, because I'm still shooting in the low 80s, but I'm not hitting enough greens. So now what am I going to do? So now inside of training, we can start to write, well, I've really noticed that between 140 and 160, my dispersion with my irons are way too big. So we really got to figure out how to be better there. Maybe a couple skills that I'm missing. So to me, one is what I'm doing well. Two is what do I need to work on. Three is from what I need to work on, come up with a game plan on how to do that. So I know my variances are too big. So what I've learned is I tend to roll the club a little too much on my takeaway, so my face is a little too open, so therefore my face is never getting square coming back. Maybe I start to see my variance is getting too wide to the right because my face is too open. My path is to the right, my face is to the right, I'm hitting these big blocks, things along that line. So I know that what I need to do is make sure that my takeaway is going to look like, it doesn't do that. So one of my favorite drills is here's what, if I'm taking my stance, I hold the club, I take my left hand here, and I work on my takeaway where my right hand is on top of my left hand. I'm looking in the camera backwards. So as I do my takeaway, I make sure that my right hand stays on top of the club. Then I go from here, and then I swing. So to me, this is what I like to do to make sure that my takeaway is in a pretty good position. So I take my trail hand, my right hand, and put it in front of my left, and I swing the club that way. So I can say I need to do more drills, intermittent drills with that, and then go in at 10 balls and see how good I am within my finger dispersions within the target or whatever that is. But again, I can start to dictate what that is. You have to have that feedback loop, right? There has to be a component. For you just to say, here's the things I do well, here's what I didn't do well, and leave it there. Now there's anxiety, there's issues. Maybe I'm chasing things on YouTube or on the internet, inside of golf magazines. But if you come up with that plan of here's how I'm going to get better, or the plan could be simply, I need to go see a golf coach. Maybe I need to get some coaching. Reach out to me. I know coaches all around the world. I can find you some really good coaches that I would trust to get players better. So once you kind of understand, what that feedback loop or that closure loop is, it just makes training in life disproportionately better. So again, journaling would be the other big piece. So overall, celebrate the fall. I love football, college football, pro football. I'm a Virginia Tech Hokie fan. We're not very good again. I'm a Washington Commanders fan. I can't say that. I'm a Redskin fan. We're not very good there either. Getting better though. There is hope, which makes me nervous. We haven't had hope since Jack Kent Cooke was the owner, and I think he passed in the 90s. So we've been without hope for a very long time as a Redskin fan, but maybe we have some this year. But again, it's time for change. It's time to get better. It's time to put forth the effort, put in the time, and reach those goals that you have. And again, we're here to help build your golf goals inside of GolfCask just as much as we're here to build your whiskey goals. So now, without further ado, we're going to switch over to whiskeys, and we're going to make some old fashions. I got to go grab a couple ingredients, and we'll get rolling on that with the pumpkin pie, the bread pudding, and the burnt cinnamon. I think the burnt cinnamon is the one I'm going to go with. But hey, without further ado, let's jump over here and make some cocktails. All right, I'm back. Here we go. I've got our bitters. I have our old-fashioned glasses with big ice cubes. I have our simple syrups that are made. And then I have 3 whiskeys to go with it. So, again, these are going to be sweeter flavored old-fashions because the group I was catering to was newbies and they liked sweet. As I started asking the questions before they came over, they really wanted to have whiskey kind of be in the background, and they enjoyed a sweeter cocktail. So, without further ado, our first one here is we're going to make our bread pudding old-fashioned. So, I need my shot glass over here. So, like always, with the bread pudding, when you think of bread pudding, I think of bread, I think of barley and malted barley. So, we're going with Fir Colin single malt. You can use any single malt. You can use any Irish or Scotch that you would wish. But to me, the single malt gives a great flavor and kind of builds on what we're trying to do with our actual drink. So Fir Colin once again. And then we're going to use just about a teaspoon of our simple syrup. I'm just going to put a little bit in the shot glass that I think is about right. There we go. I'm going to pour that over the top. So what is in our simple syrup? This one is actually very simple. It is vanilla extract with half a cup of water and a half a cup of dark brown sugar. And it gives you this nice dark amber color. So again, the brown sugar gives you gives you a caramel, more of a toffee caramel flavor than that of like white sugar. So that's why I put the brown sugar in that one. And we're going to go here with our chocolate bitters. We're going to do 2 to 3 dashes. 1, 2, 3, 1 to grow on. And then we're just going to give it a little stir. Very simple recipes, right? The simple syrup is probably the most difficult section. And to make a simple syrup, all you're going to do is bring water up to heat, add the sugar, fold it in until the sugar melts inside of or is incorporated inside of the water. Then you have a simple syrup. And again, you can change the different types of sugars, different types of herbs and spices that you like inside of it to create what you want. And then I do have blood orange dried. We'll drop that in. And this is, that is our bread pudding old fashioned. Next, we're going to go with our burnt cinnamon. So this one you can see is actually a lighter color. This is actually uses just regular sugar, and it uses, you can actually see the cinnamon sticks. So when I made this simple syrup, what I did is in a pot, I put the cinnamon sticks in and I cooked it on medium high for a couple minutes to get kind of a burnt cinnamon going. And then I made the simple syrup on top, which was sugar, a half a cup of sugar, half a cup of water, and I put just a hair of vanilla extract just because I love vanilla. So what we're going to do here is we're going to use Basil Hayden. Good, solid whiskey, easy to find. So again, we're going to go our Basil Hayden. Aromatic bitters, we're going to use Woodford, and we're going to use their doubled oak. So it's going to give it a little more oaky flavor, which I like. So 1, 2, 3. There we go. And then we're going to add, God, that smells so good. Our burnt cinnamon. On top. And then once again, all we're going to do is stir it up. And once again, a blood orange dropped in the back. Cheers. Oh, shoot. That's ridiculous. Oh my God. The burnt cinnamon. We called it the French toast. We were calling it the French toast cocktail. So our final one here, what we're going to do is we're going to use Mitcher's Rye. This is our pumpkin pie. So I'm using Mitcher's Rye because Mitcher gives you that kind of spicy rye flavor, a little bit of clove in the background, which is actually inside of our actual mix. So we're going to give ourselves 2 ounces of that. We're going to go with just the normal Angostura bitters. Once again, 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to add, once again, our pumpkin spice simple syrup. This has cloves, cinnamon, and a little bit of nutmeg, just a touch of ginger. And again, our same simple syrup, which would be, I actually use brown sugar for the sugar. So again, you can see a little bit darker because again, I wanted more of that pumpkin pie flavor. We'll go ahead and rotate this one around. So again, this one was half a cup of brown sugar, half a cup of water, and then I put just a couple dashes of cinnamon, nutmeg, and clove. And again, the beauty is if you like more clove, you can add more. If you like more nutmeg, more cinnamon. And again, just a touch of ginger. And like always, blood orange dried fruit. Cheers. Oh. I'm in heaven on that one too. All three spectacular. Bread pudding. We have our burnt cinnamon, and then we have our pumpkin spice. The rye with that pumpkin spice. Oh my God, it's so good. That one in the middle, the French toast old fashioned with the burnt cinnamon. And the bread pudding's a classic. I did a video on that one. But again, here's 3 different options to be able to create an old fashioned. So even those that don't like whiskey, you can get them to learn whiskey very well. So send me your favorite old-fashioned cocktail. I'll add that into my fold and give it a try. And again, with sugars, you can use maple syrup, you can use sugar cubes, you can use simple syrup you buy over the counter. But there's no reason to pay the cost of what simple syrup is over the counter. If you have access to sugar and water, make your own syrups. The beauty is it's a great, because it's sugar. Sugar is a great additive for things to be able to keep on the shelves long. So you make sugar water and you put it in the refrigerator, it'll keep for a while. So the beauty is once you make a simple syrup, it'll stick around as long as you keep it in the refrigerator. Again, 3 great options for old fashions. And again, I want to thank a viewer on this, and I want to thank my friends that came over and asked more about cocktails and kind of some takes. Because sometimes you get bored of just having a Manhattan or having a normal old-fashioned, which I really enjoy. But again, it's fun to spice it up and do things, especially now we're in the fall season. You know, we're starting to get into holidays and starting to bring kind of that fall baking spice seasons in. And also choosing the correct whiskey with that will change the flavor and change the taste very much. So again, the rye with the pumpkin's really good. A good bourbon with the burnt cinnamon is spectacular because you get the sweet of the bourbon as well. And again, that malted flavor with a bread pudding, you can't go wrong. So give those a shot. Thank you all again for being part of this. Again, we'll see you next Sunday for episode 16. And be on the lookout for that. But I will be releasing this one on Sunday, the day after my birthday. So if you want to wish me a happy birthday belated, I'll be more than happy to give you a thumbs up on socials as well. But thank you again. I appreciate everyone's taking their time and spending it here with me a little bit. And I look forward to keep providing you original content on golf and whiskey. And again, merging these my two passions, your two passions together, and elevating our games to a different level. Be on the lookout for more information on our Irons and Oak event in December. It's going to be really limited access. So if this is something you're interested in, definitely reach out to me. You can kind of pencil your name in before I even release stuff. It's going to be about a $500 entry fee for everything, for dinner, Friday night and whiskey tasting, for golf, for dinner, Saturday, as well as lunch, whiskey tasting on Sunday. Optional, we'll have an optional golf school on Friday before if you want to do that with me. And then we'll have an optional, you pay for your green fees at Green Hills. But again, $500 for all of that is, again, I'm not making any money. My role is not to make money. That's basically going at costs. So it'll be a wonderful weekend. If that's something that you think you're going to enjoy, definitely reach out to me and we'll make that happen. And again, we're going to have some really cool special gifts as well. So thank you all again. I'm going with the pumpkin pie. Cheers. Salancha. Thank you.